Hello, what stocks to add to your watch list for 2026? Let's work on it together. We have our 2025 watch list, but we are going to go back to our master list and take a look at those few to see if they are worth adding to our watch list for 2026. AMGN was on our watch list for 2024, but not 2026. We are going to go to maximum monthly charts that will allow you to see multiple years ahead of you, and we have the year on the x-axis from the past to the present, that's 2025, and you have the price from 0 up on the y-axis, and all those dotted lines you can see are years ahead of you. And they can even have, like, I think this is 2023 or 2024. Yeah, 2023, end of 2023, beginning of 2024. So they even have years on the dotted line. But let's look at this. Clearly, what we consider a good stock to have in your watch list, assuming you are using trend line swing trading strategy, more precisely long Uptrend swing trading strategy, is you want to be looking for stocks that are having a higher lows at the valley of the mountain and that are having a higher highs at the peak of the mountain. So you want to trace your support line passing by the valley of the mountain from the past to the present, touching the bottom of the letter V. That's the mountain valley is the chart is designing, when it's swinging around, making the mountain and the valley. We want the bottom of those V. The obvious one that we can touch, we like to touch those if we can. You want 2 touch point minimum, and from there we want to continue and when we are looking at this, it seems to be respecting this support line. Pretty much they are about the same, and that is quite a bit of years. 2013 that support line originated from there. So at this point we could well say that maybe that is going to be the new valley line. So you want to determine what your valley line is. So we have those at the bottom, but it has not touched base with faith for so long that we don't know if it's going to come back to those valley lines, but it tends to be going up. So we have this line that we can highlight to be our entry point. If not, there is a possibility it might come back down lower, and this could be our entry point. So you want to determine your entry point if you are going to add this to your watch list. So that means at this point we are going to add this to our watch list. So now we are going to look at the peak here. We want to see higher peak, and yes, it's making higher peak. So those peak are pretty much the mountain. The peak will look like V upside down. So you want to be looking at the tip of the V and see if you are having a higher and higher. So yes, this one, we have that one, and so forth. And we want to be keeping an eye on how long it's taking for that to breach the previous peak, to surpass that previous peak. We can say it's about a year and a half or so. It will create a higher peak. So we have this one here, and a year and a half close to 2 years, it exceeded. And then after that, about a year, and so, and it's on its way up. So therefore, yes, it's going to be in our 2026 watch list. We traded in 2024. We purchased it right there. Let's zoom. We purchased it using daily chart, but you can see the arrow there. Arrows facing up are where we purchased, and arrows facing down are where we sold. And this single one here does not have a place there. So we purchased it there, we sold it there. We purchased it again there the same month, because we are using maximum monthly chart here. Every bar candlestick is a month time frame, but we buy on a daily chart. So we bought it, and then from there it pulled back on us, and has been more than a year now. So it's on its way up, and I think where it is right now, we are positive in it. But it took more than a year. In fact, we could well have been positive temporarily in it sometimes in 2025, but then it pulled back. And when we are looking, it pulled back, but it didn't really touch base with this support line. But then it pulled back up. So it could well be following a support line here and is on its way up. But next time we will buy, we'll just wait on it, because last year we traded using short uptrend and swing trading strategy, and we are purchasing it on this support line. And then when it was done with it, we got stuck in it. But this time we are going to use long support line, and you can see that this support line is few months long, but this one is years long. It crossed multiple years, so we want to buy it on a long support line, but more precisely at the valley line. And determine the valley line from the support line supporting the upside wall of the mountain can be tricky for stocks that have a huge growth in them, like the way it's going up quite away from its normal trend in a decade or 2 decades prior. Can be tricky to determine which valley line is following, or at what point, if any, is going to come back down to this one. But for the time being, we can continue observing that line and this line and see which one is going to fall back to, and we will buy. But we will need to sell what we have in it first, when it reached that peak. So this is a yes. So it's going to get in. So the next one is VRTX. So VRTX, let's see if we can trace some lines here. This is too horizontal. Okay, this is a possibility. This is a possibility as well. So now we can look. It touched base with this support line a few years ago, and we don't know if it's going to come back to it or if it's going to come back to this one. We are going to highlight this one if we are going to add it to our watch list, but let's look at the peak. Yes, it's making a higher peak. It breached this one within 2 years and went up for a while before it pulled back again to that support line that it left. From that point, within 2 years, it breached this one again, and then it continued going up. So from this support line, when it breached it, 1, 2, 3, 4 years before it pulled back. When it breached it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't know if it's on its way down to this support line or this one, but for sure it's making higher peaks, and its valley line is going up as well, so higher lows. Therefore, we are going to add it to our 2026 watch list. But now we need to determine where we will want to buy. Which valley land will we want to buy? And I think if it will come back to this valley land, we will buy it there. I just don't know if it's going to come back down that low. Therefore, we want to pick another valley line that could be higher than that has multiple touch points as well. So that will be this one. And again, there is a possibility it might come back to this line. Going into 2026, we are going to be using those to be possible entry point for us. And yes, VRTX is going to add to your 2026 watch list. When you are going to buy it is another story, because it's nowhere near there yet. So the next one we are going to add to it is the REGN. Good. So REGN pull back to this support line and it's on its way up. The thing is, we purchased it there and then we got stuck in it. So when it pull back to this support line and start going up, and I think we might even try to buy some more. Although it left that support line a while ago, but again, it's still closer to that support line than it is to that. But you can see where we purchased it. We purchased it there. The arrow is there right at the tip, and it pulled back down here, and we have not sold it. It was almost a year ago that we have it in our portfolio, and I think this one will be able to extend a little bit longer. Yeah, it can originate from there. So now by looking at it, we can see that it tends to make a wide mountain. So if we are looking at this mountain here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years from the valley to the valley. 9 years with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years going up, 4 years going down. So from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years for that to go up, but then it took about a year to go down. Now 4 years to go down. If we see it here though, when it was doing that, it went up a little bit and pulled back to it. So there is a possibility that where it is now, it could pull back again before going up. So it might linger a little bit around here before it takes off, because it's going to be going up. If it's following, it followed that same pattern twice already. So we can rely on that and say maybe it's a pattern that it tends to follow. So therefore, it could take 5 years going up, and it might linger around this support line for a while before taking off, since it has 5 year journey ahead of it. So therefore, even though it left that support line, it could pull back to it. So we are just going to keep observing it and try to buy it somewhere around it. So when it pull back, we have 3 months of going up and then pull back, and then it started there. So if we are looking here, we have this low here that is higher than this one, but I don't trade on a monthly chart. So we are going to go to maximum daily chart and we are going to look. So you can see our valley line here, and you can see is going up, but still it is around the area. So let's have this support line. At this point, I'm going to do it this way. but because it went below it. So from here, it's pulling back to where it's not respecting that line quite a bit. We can trace more from there. We have this one as well, because it's in touch base with that one first. That's why I have that one going up. But we can wait for it to see if it's going to come back down to this line here, start going up from there. In fact, even if it touch it, we can buy it. But we are going to, but because clearly it touched base with that support line, and we have more than 3 higher lows. That's why we like to work with 3 higher lows. So that one is higher than this one, which is higher than this one, higher than this one. So pretty much this area should have been our entry point. Buying it at a green bar after 3 higher low. So we have this one that is higher than this one, which is higher than this one, but no, we shouldn't use that. We'll use this one. So this one is lower than that one, so avoid it. So this one and this one are the same, so we'll go to this one. So this one is higher than this one, which is higher than this one. So we have 3 higher lows. So this could well have been our entry point. That first or the second green bar could have been our entry point. And if we purchase it there, the corresponding price to it is still higher than all those. You can see that there is no candlestick below that line among those. So this area will have been our entry point. So we didn't purchase it there. We are just going to keep observing it to see if it's going to pull back to this support line at some point. And then when it starts going up from there, we can buy. But we are still around the valley line. We can buy it now if we see a green bar from here, because we are having 3 higher lows here. I just have a feeling like at some point it might pull back. In a short term, yes, you might be negative in it, but in the long term it will leave it, because it reached that support line and start going up from there. So therefore, Monday, if we have a green bar and we purchase it there, it will be fine as well. But we just know that it could well come back to this support line before taking off, because you can see how sideways it went before it started going up. I have feel like it could pull back again. So for that reason, there is no rush into it. We can just observe it. So since we are on a daily chart, we can now activate this support line and draw it longer and closer. So we can come back to maximum monthly chart and turn that into a green teal color to be where we want to buy it, and keep observing it and buy it there. We have one in it already. We can buy one more. So yes, this is going to make it to our watch list, and I think we can take a note on this one, that nine-year cycle takes 5 years going up, 4 years going down. And when I'm taking those notes, I don't pay attention to grammar. I just want to write what I'm observing before I forget about it. That way later, when I come back to those stocks, we know that we observe something, and the time we observe that, because our observation could change, since it is a live chart and every day is adding a puzzle piece to the puzzle, existing puzzle, we could be seeing different things. So this one, we do have those valley lines, and we can see the peak. So we have this peak here. It took, okay, so it climbed up 3 years to go up. 1, 2, 3, 4 years or so to go down. About from here, about 1.5 years to reach this peak, and then it's been doing that almost every year or so. We're seeing on this support line. Now this support line is long, originated in 2020. I don't know if it's going to continue to be the support line or if it's going to come back down to this. So we are having higher mountains, and we have our valley upward as well. So yes, we are going to add it to our watch list, but I just don't know where our entry point is going to be. We are going to select both. That there is a possibility it will come back down to this one, but for now it's still going up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we are leaning on this valley line, otherwise about a year, about 2 years, it tends to reach a higher peak and then it will pull back. So it came back to this support line in 2025 and then reached a peak. So because it did all of that in 1 year, make me think, after observing so many stocks, make me think this is not quite the valley line, is supporting the upside wall of the mountain. There is a possibility it's going to come lower than it because it's doing this in a year. So we are just going to keep observing it and see. If we buy it there, it pull back to here, we'll get stuck in it. From here we can buy it again and then climb it together to meet where we enter the trade here and continue it up. But it's worth observing. If we have in our watch list, we'll keep closer look at it or observing it often. So from this, yes, we can say okay to add to our watch list. ABT, Abbott, is a stock I like, but I didn't add it to my watch list this year. Okay, so we can see our valley line. Let's see if we can make those valley lines longer. If I do that, it's going to go across that. So we can just trace one from here. Okay, I mean, we are trying to avoid it, but I think that is just pretty much what that is. So we can take the old one out and we can keep this one. So this is a possible valley, and this is another one, and then we have this one as well. That is, it has multiple touch points and is going up. So we purchased it and sold it there, and we have not purchased it again. So we are going to keep observing it, and we can see that yes, we have higher lows at the valley and we have higher peak as well. So it breached this peak in 2 years, continue for another 2 years before it pulled back and sharply continue higher up. And it could be due to the pandemic. I'm not entirely sure. I would think so, since it's in the medicine field, if I'm correct, but then it pulled back. And from here, it has not surpassed this peak yet, but it is working on it. So, but since it's close to it, there is a chance it might exceed that at some point. But we are going to keep observing it, and we know that this could be an entry point for us. I'm going to just leave it that color, and this is going to be another entry point for us as well. And the new high is going to be the exit point, but when it exceeds the previous peak, it can be on the rise for 3 years before it's done. So therefore, we are going to keep that in mind. So yes, this is to add to the watch list. Can have 3 years growth. I like to put 3 years growth, but we are just going to keep observing it. And so this conclude, a few chart that we analyze to see stocks great to add to our watch list for 2026. And so far, all of them made it. Some better than others, but they are worth keeping an eye on. Thank you so much for your time. We thank you very much for watching our videos. Thank you for all your comments, and thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and ninasoap.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And swing trading is one way to make money. Just start small and slowly grow your account from there. Going into 2026, it seems to me that my strategy is changing a little bit, because with swing trading strategy, I'm picking stock for somewhat long term. Again, we are trading the same stocks, and some of them having more than 1 year growth, and then more than 1 year pullback. I'm taking them into consideration as well, not to just focusing on the one that have quick growth, reach the peak and the valley within a year, but step back and look at the long term and take that into consideration. But again, I think it might be a strategy that might work for you if you are not orange color personality, because orange color personality, they like excitement, novelty, no boredom. And I think this strategy is kind of laid back, tough, laid back, and maybe boring, but it is a sure way to grow your money. And with this strategy, I'm now focusing on monthly income, generating assets from it, cash flow from it, because some of those stocks might take longer for me to accumulate a lot of profits. So trying to find how I can stay longer in the race, claiming peak to peak without getting out too early, because I know that it might take a while for me to find that stock at the valley line again to buy, is something I need to work on so that I don't get out too early. And those being upward stocks, they are going to continue growing. So that is something to keep in mind as well. And going into 2026, I may now share, monthly income, swing trading monthly income, because it's now going to be a target of mine to be, I won't be anticipating selling stock every month. And because last year and this year, I was thinking about, can I make income out of swing trading that can equal at least our basic expenses, and then our monthly expenses, and then our paycheck, our household paycheck. And I was working toward that. But with this strategy going into 2026, it's going to be deeper than that. I may not be making a profit on a monthly basis, but it's going to be on a yearly basis. How much cash flow did I gain from those stocks that I'm trading, that I'm swing trading, because they are taking many months to grow, many months to pull back, that I'm going to be relying on that. Not focusing on, monthly income, but yearly income. So we'll become pretty much, even though we do not use those income to supplement our paycheck, it's just keep growing our account in some way. It's like paying ourselves. So our swing trading is paying ourselves, and we want to keep growing that cash flow. But going into 2026, with the way we are picking stock and the type of stocks, the new way we are viewing those slow growing stocks will make us view it more like on a yearly basis. By the end of the year, how many of those stocks were we able to sell, and how much profit were we able to make out of them? So I think it could be a possibility that we may not be selling stock at all most month going into 2026, in an attempt to stay in the trade longer to accumulate more profits before we exit. Thank you so much for your time. For more of our swing trading tips or how to create your own watch list, will you please check the playlist in the description of this video, because the way we select those watch lists from year to year is different, and I still have videos of watch list 2024 and watch list 2025 that I didn't publish, so I might still publish those so that you have those options as well to see which one you prefer to follow and experience it yourself as well. But going to 2026 is going to be more short-term investment / swing trading, using swing trading strategy to pick great stocks to invest in, and then sell it after we accumulate a good amount of profit and get out. Because again, the way I view swing trading, the same stock, is pretty much investing but locking in the growth away from the valley line, and wait to buy it again at the valley line to lock in the growth above the valley line, and wait again to buy at the valley line. Otherwise, if you just invest and keep it in your portfolio, you'll be growing steadily along the valley line. But when you combine that with swing trading, and we are swing trading the same stocks, you'll be buying it each time at a higher price, but you'll be locking in those profits, those growth above the valley line into your account, instead of just letting it being volatile and dissipate. When it pull back to the valley line, you'll be locking in those growth as well. That is how I'm trying to use swing trading strategy to improve my investment strategy. Because again, I'm naturally an investor. I like to buy and just hold in the portfolio. And I use that to swing trade, in the sense that if I buy a stock and it becomes negative, I just keep it there until it becomes positive for me to sell. So I might as well use my swing trading strategy to pick stocks and buy it at the right price. You can see that one that we purchased it there that we have not sold yet. We are positive in it right now, but we don't want to sell it until it reaches a new high, and we can sell it. Because when it reaches a new high, it could go up a little bit and then it will pull back. So you want to wait to sell it. But I'm combining both strategy, and that is just who I am. Some people are investors, they buy and hold, they stay on one extreme. Some people are swing traders, they buy and sell, they stay at on the somewhere opposite extreme. Some people are day trader, they are on the far extreme side of buy and hold forever side. And I'm a generalist type person. I like to be in the middle, trying to see all of those good strategy tips from either side that I can use to create a strategy that works for me to trade and invest at the same time, the same stocks. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm not sure if I said that, but I'm Afiavi Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and mainnasub.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And swing trading is one way to make money. Just start small and grow your account from there. On that note, one way we make money is sowing to sell. So if you are in the market for tote bag, remodeling a website to have all our products there, our physical product there, because we have a digital store as well. But instead of having 3 online store for physical product, I'm combining them in one, and I sold that bag myself. If you're in the market for a tote bag for yourself or as a gift to a family member or a friend, will you please check it out, please? Thank you so much for your time.